Celia Cabral.
And I'm Thomas Cabral. Welcome to Healthful Living. Today, we're going to talk about how to go from panic attack to panic-free.
Recently, we heard about panic attack numbers increasing. Maybe you have someone around you or in your family, in your work environment, or maybe you recently have panic attacks. Because maybe this is the way to think about it. Lately, we are in a big ball of change. The world, countries, your family, inside of us, we are going through changes. And change is a stress. It doesn't matter how positive it is. And stress means if you don't handle it properly on time, stress means negative brain chemistry. And negative brain chemistry causes a lot of psychological problems. And one of them is panic attack we're going to talk about today.
Great. So why doesn't everybody have panic attacks?
Yes, Tom, that's a very nice question because, I mean, all over the world, people live all sorts of traumas, losses, and not everybody's goes to panic attack. The reason I can explain like this, I like life's mathematics. Everything in life is a mathematic. Mathematic means cause and effect. You know, if there are causes here building, and you will have a result with these causes. So we're going to talk about cause and effect because there are certain causes that need to come together if you like to have a panic attack. And also we're going to talk about the spectrum. Spectrum is mathematics too. And look around, everything is spectrum. Everything has minimum and maximum, everything. The green sheets, our emotions, the amount of air in this room, everything has minimum, maximum, in between spectrum. And our emotions like that too, so we're going to talk about that too, because spectrum of our emotions equals to molecule, you know, chemical molecules our brain releases to that cause. And also we're going to talk about the personality type, of course, because every person responds differently to the trauma, to loss in their life.
So when you talk about personality, what are you talking about exactly?
In psychology, which is very, it's not very new knowledge, for the benefit of explaining it easier, we talk 4 personalities. Okay. These 4 personalities, not clear-cut ones. 85% of the people have mixed personalities, like one dominant personality, they are using it in daily life, and one helping personality. 85% of the people, so pure personality is 1%. The rest is equal personality. Let's talk about personalities a little bit because it's going to help us in a great deal. A type of personality, and I'd like to say about what is personality, by the way. Personalities is download program in our brain between 0 age to 7 years of age. That's a program, and we operate with that program in our daily life. How it is downloaded to our unconscious mind is by modeling. If a person, when we were growing up, if one person or more person heavily on A-type personality, it's easy for kids to model that person because A-type of personality, when they say yes, it is yes, no, it is no. When they say black, it's black or white. They don't have much in between. A-type of personality and others' personality. What is personality means is strategy of survival, strategy of living, staying in life. A-type of personality's strategy to stay alive is they don't want to miss any detail. if I don't miss any detail, then I survive. That's the main running program. And they get their program from the adult in the environment from 0 to 7 years of age. So it's not very easy to change. So A-type personality has like perfectionist tendency and obsessive thinking.
That would be me.
Tend to criticize a lot more than other people because they see a lot more detail than other people. They are more emotional, again, because of detail. Whatever A type of personality's features, they're all coming from detail orientation, because if I don't want to miss any detail to survive. So they don't like changes, of course. They like routines. This personality, A type of personality, very good in the profession's needs detail. B type of personality, their survival strategy is being right. And when they think like, if I'm like this in front of people and I tell them I'm right, you're wrong, and they little bit, you know, stay away from me, and, you know, I feel strong, they know I'm strong, so I can survive. C type of personality, they like to see the pink side of the life, like they are very entertainment oriented. They know whose birthday today is, they know what concert in the city today, and they are upbeat, jolly people, because that's how they can handle life. Otherwise, life would be very harsh on them to handle. D type of personality is diplomatic personality. When you ask them, would you like to eat pizza? Yeah. Would you like to eat pide? Yeah.
So they kind of go with the flow.
That's right. Unless something very important to them, they are very stubborn. But in general, they go with the flow. The strategy here is, if I'm friendly with people, if I'm being good sport with people, then people support me and I survive. So these personalities means this. You see the world according to your personality. And when you see a thing, it's very important, because when you see something, your brain release a thought about that thing, and that thought has a chemistry. You know, your brain releases chemistry for that thought. So we can say that your personality determines what you see, your surroundings, and inside you, of course. And your personality means your dominant chemistry, your dominant thoughts, your daily dominant thoughts. Because all of these personalities' daily dominant thoughts are very different. For instance, you know, remember we made an experiment in our clinic with the panic attack patients seminar. We opened the window and we said, people, you know, everybody is gonna look down the window 10 seconds, and after that, you know, they write down what they see in the street. A type of people wrote down on the paper, like, there is a hole in the street, there is no traffic police, there is no traffic sign. B type of personality people write like, I'm so glad I voted to that particular municipality, the street is very clean. C type of personality write down the paper like, the patterns across the apartment surface, white cat in the street, red sardinias in the balcony of the across apartment. So my point is, they all look down the same street, the same amount of time, they all see the different things. A type saw mainly the problems, and it's very necessary, because someone has to see problems, then we can solve it.
Now, is there a personality type that's more prone to panic attacks?
Absolutely. Guess which one?
I'm guessing the first one.
A. Because detail-oriented people are more stressed. As you go more in detail, your adrenaline level increases, because as you go in detail more, you see more things not in place, not the way you like, not the way it shouldn't be, so stress level goes up and up. So A type of people have a little bit more adrenaline level. When they wake up in the morning, they already have enough adrenaline for the day. And during the day, they also have more adrenaline. You know, some people may be late for the appointment, the traffic, deadlines, name it. So when they come home, you know, they're almost close to threshold. But other three personalities, you know, when they sleep, in their sleep, their body is relaxing, releasing, detoxifying, releasing endorphins. You know, they are ready for next day with the appropriate level of adrenaline. They woke up. And when they come home, you know, they have the same problems in traffic, deadlines, name it, and they come home with like not very high adrenaline. Let's say this is an adrenaline stick and this is 1, this is 10. A type of personality woke up around 7, level of 7 adrenaline, comes home with 9, and other personalities woke up with 5, comes home with 7. So again, if you talk about panic attack regarding to cause and effect, if you see a panic attack, you need to have a look at the causes. One of the causes is A type of personality, because A type of personality has more adrenaline. And this machine is a chemical, electrical, and magnetic machine working with these energies. So chemically, of course, when you're in detail, when you're on the negative side of the stuff, then you have more adrenaline, of course. So we need to be type A personality to be panic attack. At least our dominant personality should be type A, because no type A, no enough detail, no enough adrenaline, no panic attack. And second thing is, before we talk about panic attack, of course, we have to have a look at how brain works.
That's true.
Like you used to say, brain is like orchestra conductor. And I like that analogy a lot, because it is. You know, our brain has lots of parts, and every part is sending messages to the body, to muscles, livers, lungs, you know, do this, do that. Every minute, every hour, our chemistry changing immensely. So this machine, 724, working, and a conductor is here. Let's say your cell phone, just to make it easy to understand, your cell phone and our brain. Let's compare it, which is not compare, because our brain is so sophisticated, we didn't understand the whole function, how it functions thoroughly, 100% yet. So let's say your cell phone, this is your cell phone, and in your cell phone you have applications, right? And those applications have symbols. And when you press on one of the symbols, that application opens up and works, right?
Right.
Does it work all by itself?
No.
No. There are back office programs. Back office programs are the programs working those programs. Same thing with this machine. Like I'm talking here, the topic I like the most, and I don't know anything about my heart rate. I don't know anything about my depth of my breathing. I don't know what this body doing. I'm just talking. I'm just focusing on what I am doing. So that means there is a part of brain, has back office programs, and that brain is back of our head called reptilian brain. Do you want to talk about a little bit reptilian brain?
Sure, why not? I mean, I would say it's very similar to, well, it's a subconscious part of the brain, meaning everything's done automatically beyond our awareness. That's the reason why we don't have to worry about our heartbeat, or the reason why we don't have to think about our breathing. It's that everything's done automatically.
Yes. Like when we sleep, we don't know what our body is doing, but obviously our body doing everything right, so we wake up the next morning. So in reptilian brain, it is called reptilian brain because it is very old part of the brain from reptilian time, and it didn't change much, the programs, because programs there, softwares, are survival programs. And one of the area in reptilian brain is automatic nervous system. Automatic nervous system, today we're going to talk about, it has like alarm programs, if you like. You know, when I say alarm programs, let's talk about a little bit of alarms. All around the world, alarms works with one rule, threshold. All alarms work with threshold. Whatever the threshold is, when you go over that threshold, alarm goes off. So same thing with autonomic nervous systems. One of the, let's say, virus protection program is fight and flight and freeze response. We don't use freeze much. Let's say fight and flight response.
So now we're talking about, I mean, what actually is panic attack?
That's true.
Okay.
Panic attack is, I'm talking about first fight and flight software, fight and flight mechanism. Then we can easily put panic attack on the top of it.
Okay.
Fight and flight mechanism is one of the survival program we have in autonomic nervous system, as you say, automatic part of the brain, you know. Most of the day we use, frontal lobes, and frontal lobes allows us doing our daily tasks. We can call it daily mind, daily brain, you know. Whatever you do daily, it's frontal brain, you know, like drinking coffee, conversation, asking questions, understanding, explaining, calculating, you name it. So we're so used to use our frontal brain when we sleep. It's a different story, but when we awake, we use our frontal brain. In terms of danger, it's a different story. And you can think about danger as a spectrum. Remember? We talk about life mathematics, and life mathematics means spectrum, cause and effect. So if you think danger as a spectrum, minimum danger, maximum danger. What is the maximum danger? That it can't be, there is no danger more than that. What is the maximum danger?
That would be life-threatening danger.
Life-threatening. So fight and flight mechanism is an alarm mechanism, goes off only life and death issues, life and death situations. And how does it know it is a life and death situation? Because it works with threshold like any other alarm in the world. The threshold is adrenaline molecule number. Let's say this is adrenaline stick 1 to 10, and in our daily life we are operating between 5 and 7 normally. And in a life and death situation, we scared so much fear, panic. In 1/10 of a second, we pass over the threshold, and autonomic nervous system, autonomic nervous system works like this. If threshold is passed, it is a life and death situation. let's put fight and flight strategy software on. Now it's aired, it's on. So when you're in fight and flight mode, of course, different part of your brain working. So it is scary, you know. All of a sudden, it's like that. It's like I'm sitting here, okay, talking to you. All of a sudden, like I feel at home at the kitchen with my cats. You know, it's that different, you know, when you're operating on with this part of the brain, and all of a sudden, one in, you know, 1/10 of a second, you're not there.
So why does it go, okay, so this is an old system. We're talking like back in the days of, let's say, the dinosaurs.
Yes.
So the threats were obvious. You know, you walk in, you know, through the jungle and all of a sudden you see a big dinosaur and he's hungry.
Yes.
You know? So that does the fight or flight system, and you're either going to run or fight. In this case, he's bigger than me, I'm going to run.
Yes.
But why does it get tripped, like, seemingly for no reason?
Okay. Let's say after the program we decided to walk, and we were walking down the street, doddy, 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 and then we didn't realize that big truck coming from the uphill down, and all of a sudden we are scared so much that we cannot be scared more. 1/10 second, you know, we pass the adrenaline threshold. As soon as we pass the threshold, fight and flight reflex is on. Fight and flight reflex is on. What does it do? First of all, pounding of heart. You know, our heart rate is increased. The reason is heart pumps blood to the periphery. You know, withdrawing blood from the vital organs and sending it to the extremities, especially legs and the muscles we use when we run. And our pupils, 16 times larger than normal times. Wow. Because we need to see where to run, 1/10 of a second. So everywhere you look, it looks very strange to you at that moment. And because adrenaline makes muscles 4 times tighter than usual, all the nerves are squeezed by the muscles like that. So you may have pins and needles here and there in your body. Your balance is different. Your hearing is different. You hear more because all your senses are maximum. Fight and flight mechanism is such a mechanism like this machine working on full throttle. Wow. Because if we run and escape, we survive. If we cannot run, we cannot survive, obviously. So let's say we saw the truck, our autonomic nervous system worked properly, we know where to run.
You jump out of the way.
Get out of the way really fast, and we are living, you know. Then we go home and we like to relax, like many people does that. We say, okay, I'm going to play with my phone a little bit, I'm going to look at Facebook, Instagram and stuff. And we are doing this movement, it's very trend now. And all of a sudden I started to think about the possible results of if truck hits us.
So now we're talking about the difference between the fight or flight response and panic attack.
Absolutely.
Because and everything that's happening in the fight or flight response also is actually the symptoms of panic attack.
Exactly, they are same. The flight and fight mechanism and panic attack is same. What is the difference? The difference is the truck. First one, when fight and flight mechanism works, there was an external threat, the bus coming.
Right.
So clear and up close, danger. But when I'm at home, there is no external danger. Danger is here. I'm thinking. When I think, like, oh, if the bus hits us, if I die, or if Tom's die, or if we both of us die, then, you know, I'm in my mind, and my mind doesn't know, it is imagination, so my adrenaline building up, building up, building up, and at some point I pass the threshold, fight and flight mechanism is on now.
So then what are the, like, the symptoms of a panic attack that really have people's attention? In other words, what are the things that people are focusing on, because it's really perception, that make this panic attack so horrifying?
I agree with you. And we need to talk about a little bit unconscious mind, but it's a very large topic, so I leave it to next session or after next session we have. What happens is, the first scenario, our unconscious mind is the boss of autonomic nervous system, because our unconscious mind is working 24/7, sort of like surveying the area for our survival. So before we notice the bus, before 10 seconds we notice the bus, unconscious mind already knew, already ready to put autonomic nervous system in place for our survival. When we notice the bus, then system took off.
Primed and ready to go.
Yeah. So this is, you know, normal. Normally it has to work this way. But when I'm at home, unconscious mind surveying the area, as usual, when I freak out in my mind, oh God, if that truck hits us, we have no chance for survival. What will happen to our children? What will happen to our parents? Then, you know, I'm in my mind increasing adrenaline level, and unconscious mind says, I can't see any external threat, but because I'm also a chemical being, I pass the threshold, and unconscious mind has to put fight and flight reflex in place, because the software is like that. Workflow, you can't change the workflow, because autonomic nervous system doesn't know if there is external threat or there is internal threat. Autonomic nervous system only knows if you pass the threshold. So when there is no external threat and you pass the threshold, that's panic attack.
And you know what really makes a panic attack really lock in? Because when that happens the very first time, right,
which you experienced it. Would you like to talk about your experience?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I first came to Turkey, it was a big change in my life. I basically just came with 2 suitcases in my hand to be with you. And so I left the world as I know, and I came to this foreign place that I love dearly, but at that time it was so scary for me. I had a language barrier, there was culture shock, so there were a lot of stresses that really started affecting me over time. And one night I wake up.
And you also, I'm sorry, also a very detailed-oriented person.
Well, type A personality. I confess. So one night I'm laying in bed, and all of a sudden I wake up and I can't breathe, you know, and my chest is tight, and that's what I was focused on. You know, some people focus on the heart rate, but it was all about the breath for me. Fortunately, at that time, though, I knew enough, because you also had panic attacks.
For 20 years.
So I was, you know, had done some research already, and right away I remember thinking, oh, cool, this is a panic attack.
Oh, cool, this is a panic attack.
So I was lucky because it was full-fledged that time. I was shocked, I didn't know what was going on, but then once I knew what it was, then it was no longer a threat to me, and I calmed down really quickly. But your experience was a lot more different. You should talk about that a little bit.
As I say, cause and effect, you know, for panic attack, absolutely A-type personality should be dominant, and second is big loss, or little losses build up to pass the threshold. I had a loss. My 4-month-old baby, I lost my 4-month-old baby all of a sudden, my daughter, and it was a big shock. It was beyond words. It is beyond words.
Something only a mother could really know.
Absolutely. So after 1 year, I think about 1 year, and I was at home, and most probably preparing something for tomorrow work, and all of a sudden I felt like, I think I'm dying. Something really bad happening to me. You know, my heart pounding, I'm short of breath, everywhere looks so different. I thought I definitely dying here. And you know, my parents were there and they didn't know what to do. They took me to the balcony, I get more air, they talked to me, and then I settled down because, you know, every alarm mechanism works on a set time. Like your thief alarm or your clock alarm doesn't go forever. You know, it goes 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and same thing with fight and flight alarm system mechanism. It has 5 to 15 minutes long. If you want it or don't want it, that's it, because it's an alarm mechanism. It triggers off and it finishes after 15 minutes the most. So I think that was what happened to me that night. But even though I'm a doctor, a medical doctor, I read it panic attack. At that time, actually, it was anxiety disorder, under anxiety disorder about 35 years ago, 35, 36 years ago. It wasn't this clear. So, you know, I forgot it, and it started to repeat itself. You know, that's what happens in panic attack. And when it repeats itself, when you feel that, oh, I think I'm dying, I'm losing control, I'm losing my mind, something really bad happening to me, I think I'm gonna having heart attack. And maybe you have blurred vision because your pupils are 16 times larger than normal. You know, every symptoms scares you because it's out of place.
Exactly, and you don't know what's happening, right? And so you think you're dying, you even go to the emergency room, they check you out, they say everything's fine, but how could I be fine? I mean, I was dying here. And then what starts the whole vicious cycle why it keeps coming back over and over again, because now it's a fear of it happening again. What if this happens to me again? You know, like, and so you live each day wondering, is it going to happen? Is it going to attack me today?
And it reflects your behavior. You started to take preventative measures.
Or avoid certain situations.
Avoid certain situations. Like, what happens, first panic attack is very important. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor or if you know nothing about medical field. It's what happens in first panic attack is really very tremendously horrific, because think about it, Tom. Like 1 minute ago, your life is as usual. 1 minute ago, your life is as usual. You have usual struggles, problems, everything usual. And after 1 minute, nothing is usual. You're dying in your mind.
Literally.
You feel like, I'm dying, or I'm losing my mind. You are in panic mode, and you don't know why.
That's the scary part.
Because there is no external threat. And you turn to someone you know, you feel close and trust, and say, look, I'm really very bad, I think I'm dying. And the other person usually says, wash your face, it's good for you.
Yeah, well, you know, you're overreacting.
You're overreacting.
They have no idea, because it's mostly internal.
Yes.
They have no idea what you're going through.
They only see a face really fearful, very scared, panic face. They don't see any sickness, because this is not sickness. They don't understand. When you tell them, take me to accident emergency room,
They look at you like, like you're trying to get attention, or you're overreacting, or like they look at you like, you know, hey, you're crazy.
They do certain investigations, like your blood, X-ray, urine and stuff, and doctor comes around and says, nothing wrong.
What do you mean there's nothing wrong?
And you know something wrong. So you have broken trust twice. First, the person at home, at work, who's close to you. Second, to doctor, you know, what do you mean nothing wrong? I mean, I was dying a few minutes ago. And then, you know, if it's not diagnosed on time, then it causes a lot of avoiding behavior. You know, I don't go there, I should sleep a lot, I should eat enough food, I shouldn't go to the crowd, I shouldn't stay alone.
Your world becomes really small.
Small. And also because first accident and emergency visit, doctor says you have nothing wrong, then you say, okay, this doctor doesn't know, let's go to cardiologist, let's go to neurologist, let's go to this doctor, that doctor. So they've been around having a lot of checkups, and they still cannot convince that they have nothing wrong physically.
Then what they usually do is they do a referral to like a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
Yeah.
So now you have even more fear, more adrenaline, because now you start to wonder if I'm losing my mind. You know, am I paranoid? Am I this or that? So that even adds to the problem even more. Absolutely.
So from that point on, from the first panic attack, it's not just panic attack anymore.
No, there's all these fears that come up.
It's a panic attack pyramid after the first panic attack. What is panic attack pyramid is, you have panic attack because you have the cause got together for you. So when you have panic attack, your brain chemistry is different than your factory settings. In our DNA, we born with such brain chemistry. It's unique to us. Unique, like our DNA. Like our DNA, unique brain chemistry. So our brain has the blueprint of it. Our brain knows it. So when I have panic attack, the reptilian brain, which has a lot of healing programs in it, says, oh, something wrong here. I have to match this with this one. So it takes certain measures to heal it, to correct it. But I'm here with panic attack, okay? And after living with panic attack for a while, like 1 or 2, 3 months, I started to think like, oh my God, is my life going to be like this?
For the rest of your life?
It's a very depressing thought. So I have depression now. I'm a little bit far from factory settings. When I have panic attack in depression, my brain chemistry is really different than factory settings when I was born. When I struggle with panic attack and depression, I started to think like, how am I gonna live like this? Anxiety disorder. And when you live with this 3 disorder, then 4th one comes, obsessive thinking. This happened, that happened, and you thinking it obsessively. And the last step is the phobias. scared of living alone,
flight phobia, you know,
heart attack,
phobia, literally.
even vomiting in public,
that's right,
fainting in public,
fainting.
yeah, and also a lot of phobias. So you're far from here, and your natural brain chemistry is here, your blueprint. It's hard to live with panic attack, because panic attack is not alone anymore. It has friends.
You know, over the years, it develops other problems.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, though, that the first thing you have to treat would be the panic attack, top of the pyramid. And so with that said, what is the treatment for panic attack? You know, what is the treatment? How do you treat panic attack?
Before treating panic attack, I want panic attack people do this to themselves, because they are not living with only panic attack. They are living with panic attack pyramid, and they are doing their daily things, bringing up their children, going to work, come home, cooking, looking after your parents, and it's not easy.
No.
And I have a bad news for you. People will not understand you, because they hardly in their reptilian brain consciously. So they don't know how it feels. They don't know what you're experiencing. So they say, tell them, oh sweetie, this is panic attack and it's not gonna kill you. Just calm down. And it doesn't work that way.
Because it's so internal. I remember I was doing this meditation it was a meditation retreat in Italy, and I had a roommate, and you know, during that time we don't, you know, we're not allowed to talk, we're in quiet solitude and that sort of stuff, but we're in the same room, and this guy was having a panic attack. And now I know panic attacks pretty well. We've been helping people for years, right? Well, after it was over, we were talking, and he was telling me that he had this really bad panic attack at night. I'm like, really? And he's like, how come you don't know? Because it's all internal. So people, unless you experience it, people can't relate, people can't understand. And so that person who's suffering the panics feels alone, isolated. Nobody understands me. They're not getting the support they need. I think people who go through panic attacks, like over time, are the most strongest people I know.
Yes.
Especially when they come out the end of it and it's all behind them. These people, they could handle anything.
And I tried everything to get better from panic attacks. I tried antidepressant medications. Of course, I'm in medical field. I tried acupuncture, bioenergy, name it. I tried everything. And everything worked for a while, and it came back. That's the nature of panic attack. You know, it ruins your life 2 years and then goes away, I don't know where, 3 years, and it comes back for 5 years. That's all stuff. Because
something in your life is going on at the time that triggers the, you know, the panic again.
But when I went to Boston, one day Panic Away seminar, which I resist to go there because
you thought I was crazy when I first brought that idea up to you, one-day panic attack. What is that?
All right, So actually I didn't believe. But you said one thing, it got my attention. You said, Ophelia, what do you have to lose?
That's right.
I said, yeah, I mean, then I went to that program. It's a one-day seminar program and 21-day USB program you do at home. And after 21 days, you don't have panic attack, even though you beg it to come back. You don't have panic attack. It's an awesome program. So I want to tell you guys, there is a remedy. You don't have to live with it. You're not born with it. Why you should live with it? There is a remedy for panic attack, and it's not the medication, because there is a place for antidepressant medication, of course.
I was going to ask you, like, what would be the role in medication? In other words, there's been medical treatment, medicine treatment rather, And what does it achieve? Because it doesn't seem to actually cure the panic, but it does have a purpose, doesn't it? It is useful.
It does. In some cases it does. For instance, if a child cannot go to school, adult cannot go to work, cannot function in their daily life, during treatment we can use it temporarily, because on the box it's written antidepressant. It's not anti-panic. There is no anti-panic medication. So antidepressants work in panic attack about 20–30% relief the symptoms, which is for some patients huge, some patients nothing. But of course there's a place for antidepressant medication. But this one-day panic away program solves the problem from the root.
Absolutely. So traditionally they would treat with medication, but it was more like just put on a Band-Aid. And that's why you were being treated, but it was still coming back because the core issue or the root cause was never treated. And so how do you do that?
So there's a program like what I did and what we are doing in our clinic is, we treat the patients with seminar 8 hours, 1 day. That's why they say one day panic away. What we do those 8 hours is we give a lot of information about what is panic attack, a type of personality, lifestyle changes, what was going wrong, and what we should do. So after that 8 hours seminar, which is very important because we are living in information age. I mean, if we know, we don't be scared so much. So that program has 2 parts. One part with the seminar part, 8 hours in 1 day, we train conscious mind.
Conscious awareness. Because when you don't have an idea of what's going on, there's nothing you can do. You feel powerless, hopeless. But when you're aware, you have all that information, now you understand that this is a normal function of the body, that it cannot hurt you. No one in the history of panic attacks has ever died from a panic attack.
Yes, that's
because
right.
It goes against the very nature of what the body's trying to do, and that's maintain survival. So once you know that, now you can begin to work the solution. So that's the conscious awareness,
Yes.
and then you work.
Then we also train unconscious mind. Patient can do it at home, and the unconscious mind training is like 3 steps actually. First, invitation. We need to invite panic attack every morning. Second is...
So what do you mean by that? Just mentally?
Mentally,
You're like,
yeah.
hey, I wanted to come today. Why don't you come? And you scare the bejeebies out of me?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's the magnetic library you have. We call it unconscious mind. That works with the magnetic part of the brain, because invitation in your unconscious mind means I'm not scared.
So you're showing that there's no fear.
Yeah, unconscious mind automatically think like, oh, there's no threat.
Exactly.
So when your unconscious mind doesn't take panic attack as a threat because you invited it, then it doesn't release adrenaline as much.
No panic attack.
Or little adrenaline effects, but not to the threshold.
To the threshold.
So that's why we invite 21 day every morning. Second is, bitireyim. O zaman tedaviyi başka zaman konuşalım diye bitireyim, tamam mı? It's very nice to know panic attack, Tom. I think it's 50% of the healing to know about panic attack. But why don't we talk about the treatment next time?
I agree. Conscious awareness is everything, but there's still so much more information to share. Yes. But we're out of time today.
That's right.
I enjoyed this conversation immensely.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I just want to let you know that we'll continue on with in another episode how you treat it. So we'll build on what we taught here today. In the meantime, if there's any comments or questions or any feedback, remember to give us to contact us. Well, that's it for today.
Thank you very much for having us, and bye for now.
May you be well. Until next time.
Thank you.